everybody, it's Kathy Ondas with Simply Cards by Kathy, and I'm really excited to be here with you today. I have so much to tell you that I hope I don't forget to tell you anything. I have some things to tell you about what I'm doing new in 2022 and some of the things going on with Stampin' Up. So I'm going to get right to it so we can get started stamping. Yesterday, our mini catalog, the January to June for 2022 and celebration went live. I'm sure by now you've already looked through it and put your list together of your wish list. I know when I went through it, I had a very hard time picking, and I've already ordered a couple times now. So we'll be using a lot of the different stamp sets and dies over the coming weeks for my videos, and I'm really excited to share that with you. With the celebration, it's running January 4th through February 22nd. And I just want to remind you, with any $50 purchase, or I should say every $50 purchase, and it doesn't matter if it's out of the mini catalog or the annual catalog, you get to pick something free out of this celebration brochure. So if you buy $50, you pick one thing free. If you buy $100, you get to pick two things free. And there's some really beautiful things in this celebration. Lots of really pretty designer series paper, like the daffodils that go with the new stamp set and dies. This stamp set Catching Butterflies is so cute. I'm anxious to use that. We have the rainbow papers that go with the new rainbow dies. So just a lot of really cute things. So don't forget about that. There are some stamp sets that you get the stamp set and the paper for free, and that's with a $100 purchase, and that's the Friendly Hello. But today, we are going to use one of the stamp sets out of here, and it's the Calming Camellia. This is the free host set that you get if you host a party or place a personal order of $300 or more. So it's a gorgeous, distinctive stamp set, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to bring in my card. This is a card that I made for my challenge, my card challenge. My card challenge is once a month starting in 2022. It'll post the first Tuesday of the month, and it will run through the last Sunday of the month. I will post a different challenge every month. I'll give you the guidelines for the challenge, and then I will post a card for that challenge, and you can post under me. I encourage you to participate and do it because there's going to be prizes at the end of the month. At the end of the month, there'll be a random drawing, and I will give away prizes such as stamp sets, designer series paper, and other surprises. So it's just meant to be a fun time to share ideas and be able to provide you with some ideas and stamping challenges. This stamp set is really gorgeous. It's a really distinctive stamp. It has lots of greetings that you can use for several occasions, and I'm going to show you some cards today. We're going to make one, but then I believe I have 4 more to show you, and I think I've used all the greetings in them. So I'm going to move these off to the side, the stamps, and I'm going to bring in what inspired me to make this card. This is what I posted. It's a sketch. It's a sketch for a card. And I posted it up on my Facebook page on Tuesday of this week as the challenge. And it gives you guidelines of what to use. It doesn't give you measurements, and you go ahead and you change it up and kind of follow the sketch and design your card. So this is the card I designed using that sketch and then posted under my Facebook page. So I encourage you to come along and play with your cards and post, and then get in on the drawing at the end of the month. And if you do that, just go to my website. I did post and keep that post at the top of my Facebook page. Just post right under the guidelines and my card so that we have a running tally and people can take a look at all the different ideas. I'm really excited about this. So we are going to make this card today, and I did a lot of the prep work. We are going to use basic black, and I stuck with the designer series paper that I used, and the designer series paper is from the annual catalog, and it's Pattern Party, and it has, just brought in a couple to show you. It is double-sided. One side is all black and white, whether it's geometrics, checks, florals. We have polka dots and stripes. We have just like, I'm not even sure what to call that. But just, I love black and whites. And then if you flip these over, you have some really bright patterns to use for cards. And this isn't even all of them. So I've been using this designer series paper all week. And I think I've used just about all of them with different stamp sets and cards. So again, this is out of the annual catalog. So I'm going to move this off to the side, and we are going to get started. I have pre-cut everything to try to save us some time. And this is really a quick card, but I think it's a really pretty card. And it is a card that you can use with the design of the card with any stamp set. There's several Stampin' Up! Floral sets that you could use to make this card. And it wouldn't even have to be the Calming Camellia. Sorry about that. I have all the measurements down below and in my website along with the instructions, so you don't have to write them down. But this was an 8.5 by 5.5, and it was scored at 4 1/4. And then for the inside, I have a 4 1/4 by, or 4 1/8, I'm sorry, by 5 3/8. We're going to use a piece of designer series paper that is 2 inches by 5.5 inches. And then another one that is 5/8 of an inch by 5 3/8 for the inside of the card. We have a piece of 3 by 4 basic white for the stamping of the Camellia. And then we have a scrap for stamping our greetings and for the matting for our greeting. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my piece of designer series paper, and I'm going to adhere it to the front of my card. And I'm going to place mine off to the left like I did on the one I showed you. I'm going to adhere it with my multi-purpose glue. And I like to use the glue because it allows me to slide it if I don't get it quite in the place that I was hoping to. That looks good. Okay, I'm going to set that off to the side. And then I am going to get my inside ready. And to do that, I cut another piece of designer series paper to adhere to the inside, just to dress it up a little bit. In one of the cards that I'll show you afterwards that I made, I used one of the stamp sets just to decorate in the lower corner. So we're going to go ahead and put this on, and then stamp our greeting so that our inside is ready. I love using matching designer series paper to dress up my insides. We're going to use the You Make Me Smile from the stamp set. And I'm going to ink it up with some Memento Black. Now I did place this stamp on the block ahead of time because I stamp, I'm not great at stamping straight. In fact, I probably should have stamped this before I put the paper on. So I use my grid paper to line up when I'm putting my stamp on my block and also my paper. So we're gonna, there we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna adhere that to the inside. When I stamp my stamp, I'm going to be using the Stamparatus today. So here's our inside. I'm going to set this off to the side. And then while we're stamping, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my greeting. And I'm going to use the greeting, I love being your friend. And what I do to line it up is I try to line the writing up. I don't know if you can see that. With one of the lines, and then just bring it in on my block. And I'm gonna and for a change, I'm straight. Now to cut out the greeting, I used my layering circle dies. And depending on your greeting is the size you're going to use. So I used the plain, just plain circle greeting to cut my greeting out. And then I used the scalloped edge circle to cut out the matting for this greeting. And due to television, I'm going to set these off to the side because I did them ahead of time so that you wouldn't have to see me leave and go over to my cut and emboss machine. So we'll set those off, and then we're going to take our large stamp from this set, and you can see it's quite large. Now, you could do one of two things. You could put it on a block if you chose to do that. I did not, and for two reasons. I used my Stamparatus, and I'm going to bring that in here and show you. And the reason I used it is because I'm going to bring this up close. This is a very distinctive stamp, and I want to be able to get everything it has to offer for the design. In order to do that, if I use my Stamparatus, I have the option to go back and stamp it, and it'll align perfectly if I feel I need to restamp because I might want it darker, or if I might have missed a spot because I didn't have enough ink on it. So I'm going to go ahead and take my 3x4 piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to place my stamp, and it picks up my stamp. And then for this one, I'm going to do this in real red. I'm going to use a bright contrast on that black. And my real red is kind of inky or juicy. So what I'm going to do is take a spoon, and I just push mine ink off to the side and then I'm going to ink up my stamp. I don't know if you've ever had that where you get a lot of spots if your ink is too juicy. So I'm going to bring this in, and I want to keep it right there for you to see. And I'm going to close it up, and I'm just going to make sure I give it a good press so that I don't have any areas I miss. And there's our stamp, and I don't need to re-ink it. So it came out just like I was hoping it would, with the distinction and then the ink blots on the edge, which is what you can see was in the other card that I did. So let's set this off to the side, and I'm going to close up my ink. And we're going to go ahead and adhere and finish up our card. I use Stampin' Dimensionals here to put this on, and because the card base is black, I used black Stampin' Dimensionals. And I wanted to make sure that it kind of stays down well. I didn't want it, if it went through the mail, through the machines, to kind of get squished. So I'm using a lot of Stampin' Dimensionals. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put this on. Right about there. Then I'm going to take my greeting, and I'm going to adhere it. You can see this was used for something else, and I had made a mistake, so I had thrown it in my scraps to use on another card. Oops. Just going to put it in the middle. And then I want to adhere it so that it's in this lower corner. But this is already raised up. So I'm going to do that by putting a Stampin' Dimensional on the bottom. And then I'm going to take a glue dot and I'm going to put that on the top. And then we're going to, the glue dot will be on the floral part and the Stampin' Dimensional on the bottom. So there's our card. So let me get some of this out of the way, and I'm going to bring in 4 other cards for you using this same stamp set, this card sketch. So this was the first one I made, and here it is in the red. I'm not sure which one I like better, so I'd be interested to see what you think. But the other thing is, this was a really easy card. If you want to dress it up a little, you can emboss the front of your card, as I did with this one and also this one. If you can see, it's embossed, and I used the painted texture embossing folder. So here's another one. And then I did one with the fresh freesia, and I used the paper from, I think it's Heart and Home, that's in the new catalog, and stayed using like a monochromatic for the flower and the card base. And then this card is truly a monochromatic card. I used Petal Pink, which is one of our annual colors for the next till 2023. And I kept it through. On the insides of my cards, this is a stamp that is in that common Camellia stamp set that I use to decorate. I did the same with this one. And with the red one, I did a little bit differently. I ran it across the bottom of the card with the happy birthday. So 5 different cards, all using the same stamp set, all a little bit different, but I think they're all, I really love this distinctive stamp set. So I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment, let me know which one you liked best. And I will see you again real soon. Join me on Monday, which would be the 10th of January at 1 o'clock for a Facebook Live. And go over to my Facebook page, check out that challenge, and post a card. I'd love to see what you make. Explore your love of stamping and paper crafting.